Are you working on battery powered embedded product development like wearables, asset monitoring system, or battery powered sensor module or data loggers? If yes, this video is very important for you. In battery powered embedded design, average power consumption is very critical. If you can keep average power consumption of your circuit low, you can have greater battery backup time. One of the most critical factor which impacts your average power consumption is your power supply's IQ. IQ is quiescent current of your power supply, which is nothing but current consumed by your power supply circuitry even when there is no load. So consider your sensors, your microcontroller are consuming zero current. This IQ or quiescent current is consumed by your power supply circuit. So you would want to have lowest possible quiescent current of your power supply circuit in order to achieve maximum battery backup time. So in this video, I'm going to talk about TPS 62840 buck converter from Texas Instrument, which is having ultra low quiescent current around 60 nanoamps. This buck converter is very useful for applications like asset tracking devices, wearable electronics. It is very easy to use, so you need only input capacitor, output capacitor, a small inductor and a resistor in order to set the voltage output. It can take voltage input from 1.8 volt to 6.5 volt, and you can have configurable output from 0.8 volt to 3.6 volt. You can draw up to 750 milliampere with the help of this buck converter, and it has very high efficiency of 80% at 1 microampere current output, considering 3.6 volt V in and output is set for 1.8 volt. It has enable pin with the help of which you can disable the DC-DC converter if you don't want to use. At that time, it will consume only 25 nanoampere as a shutdown current. It comes in various packages like SON8, HV SSOP8, WCSP6, which is basically your chip scale package like a BGA. There are various devices in TPS 62840 series, 4041, 42, and with the help of single resistor you can set what is the voltage output you need. Now let us see how it actually works. I have already purchased evaluation board for TPS 62840. This is your input voltage, this is your output voltage, and these are for setting. This is for enable, this is for selecting whether it is in forced PWM mode or auto mode, which is basically based on load. It will switch between PFM or PWM mode, and this is to stop or resume the DC-DC converter switching. I'll be using Nordic Semiconductor's Power Profiler Kit 2, which will be able to source voltage which will be given to input of this DC-DC converter board, and then we will check what is the power consumption at no load, and then we will also check what is the power consumption at two different loads. So I have two resistors connected on jumper wires which I'll be connecting here on the output. So one is 1 kilo ohm, another one is 10 kilo ohm. So 1 kilo ohm will produce 1.8 milliampere current because voltage output is set to 1.8 volt, and similarly with the 10 kilo ohm resistance the current will be approximately 120 microampere. So we will see how this DC-DC converter works and what is the efficiency. Now let us see on no load how this DC-DC converter works. So we will configure Power Profiler Kit 2 in source mode, and it will output 3.6 volt, which way will give as an input to the DC-DC converter board, and we will see how much current it is consuming. So we'll turn it on and we will start sampling. What we have to watch is the average power consumption, and these peaks are basically peak current requirement, because right now at no load it is working in PFM mode, where it will give one pulse, give enough energy in order to charge the output capacitor, and then it will and when the charge starts decreasing, it gives another pulse. So it is basically working in PFM mode. So that is why you see these pulses. Average power consumption is 0.21 microampere, which is roughly 200 nanoampere, and as per datasheet it is 60 nanoampere. So one more thing which I want to mention is this Nordic Semiconductors power profiler kit is not very accurate. It has a resolution of 100 nanoampere, and accuracy is also not that great. So I will not doubt Texas Instrument chip, but I will doubt power profiler kit's accuracy and resolution. If we use some of the other precision tools for power consumption measurement like Joule scope, I'm sure we will be able to see much closer results which complies with Texas Instruments data sheet. Now let us see how it works with 1 kilo ohm load, which is basically 1.8 milliampere. Let's see what kind of efficiency we get. So again, we will monitor the average power consumption. So I'll connect the 1 kilo ohm resistor. I will restart this sampling. So we will take average power consumption for 10 seconds, which is coming around 1.08. And I have already created an Excel sheet with the help of which we'll be able to see what kind of efficiency we are getting at this load. Input current is 1.08 milliampere, and on the output we know 1.811 voltage it is generating. I have already tested with the help of Fluke 179 multimeter, and because I have connected 1 kilo ohm resistance, I know it will give 1.8 milliampere. So we can calculate the efficiency is around 85.26. Now let us see what kind of efficiency we will get if we connect a smaller load, which is 10 kilo ohm resistance. I'll connect the 10 kilo ohm resistance as load. So at 10 kilo ohm output load, which is basically 180 microampere load, we are seeing 103.96 microampere as input current. So we will put it in the efficiency calculation and we'll be able to get the efficiency. So this complies with the efficiency claims in the datasheet. One thing which you need to note is my setup is not very accurate. So these measurements could be, plus minus 2-3%. But this gives us a very good idea that what kind of efficiency we can expect when we are using this DC-DC converter. I hope you found this video useful. If you are interested to understand more how you can reduce power consumption of your embedded product, which is powered by battery, you can go to my blog pallavagarwal.in and you can search for low power embedded system. You'll be able to find one article, 10 most important tips for low power embedded system design. Here you'll be able to see all the details, all the considerations which you should consider while designing low power embedded system. And if you need any help in reviewing your design for low power consumption or optimization, uh, you can contact me and I'll be able to help you. With this, I'll conclude this video and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much.